Good evening, folks. Today we're going to be doing a video on a dummy load. This happens to be an oil-filled dummy load. We have a 300 watt oil-filled dummy load and a 300 watt dry dummy load we're going to be using for a represent, so to speak. Here's this oil-filled dummy load, and it was made by W4FPB. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I am been told this is probably for ladder line. This is the resistor that is on the on it. Maybe that resistor is actually for something else. Got a SO239 chassis mount. We got all the kicks and giggles that you're gonna see on a dummy load, at least an oil-filled dummy load. Let me show you all the dry dummy load. Here is your 300 watt dry dummy load from MFJ. This is a MFJ 260C. I will have this linked in the description below. This is actually my dad's. I'm just using it for example here. Can't take it and show you what's inside. Pretty much just has this SO239 and probably 150 ohm 300 watt or multiple resistors to make 300 watts. This one, actually, that resistor is for the ladder line, so the resistor is probably in the dummy load inside this. This was, as I said, made by W4MPB, May 7th, 2018, 300 watts plus, 50 ohm, which is being covered up by my thumb, and then it just says oil-filled dummy load. Then it has little instructions on the background, and it's a schematic and diagram and all that good stuff. This has somewhat of the same derating curve. So yeah, this one, from what I've understood, this one can probably handle more heat than more power than what the oil-filled one can. And the reason is because the oil acts as a heat dissipating, like coolant, kind of. So if you run this over 300 watts and you actually smell burning oil, you're going to want to refill the oil and be very careful when you take off this lid. And yeah, so that's how that is. All these dummy loads should have a 1.1 SWR of almost anywhere. This dummy load I have right here, my oil-filled dummy load, should work for anything, everything. This one should work for anything, everything. And they're used for more testing purposes, which we will get into now. Which is you hook it up to your radio. I have it also hooked up to the SWR meter. Let me grab the coax, which is right here, and we're going to, I guess, use this one. See, you heard the signal of the RF signal raise as the radio frequency RF signal raise as I put the things. It was touching something, it was getting more signal. Now it's not getting much of any signal because of the way that the dummy load works. And on my last video, showing you all if your radio was set up properly and all that stuff, we got an SWR of 1.0 at 4 watts on my dummy load. Now on my dad's dummy load, you get 1.0 with still the same wattage, which doesn't really matter for a dummy load, but that's good that is the way that is. And what else can I cover on dummy loads? I'm trying to think here. Some dummy loads work good if you have a heatsink or oil, which I did cover that. And trying to think of anything else. If something else comes up, I'll make a part 2 on the dummy loads. But yeah, they work great for not radiating a signal. Radiating a signal. And it's good testing purposes. Now, I probably will still make a part 2 on the dummy loads. I'll probably see if I can use my dad's MFJ analyzer, which I've showed in other videos, to see where these two are and how the SWR is on all bands. That analyzer covers HF, VHF, and UHF, so I'll be able to cover everything pretty much and see how it is. So, yeah, I'll be back for part 2 in a little bit. Upbeat 88. Good evening, and welcome back for part 2 of the antenna analyzers. And while I'm discussing all this about, or not antenna analyzers, sorry. Welcome back for part 2 for the dummy loads. I won't edit that, that's really not a big deal, I just misspoke. So today, we have been discussing, dry dummy loads and oil-filled dummy loads. This is my oil-filled dummy load rated at 300 watts plus. That's literally what the thing says. And this 300 watt dry dummy load, from MFJ, which I will link in part 1 and part 2. I've already linked it in part 1. Well, by the time you guys watch this, I'll have already, but I haven't. So I've gotten permission to use my dad's antenna analyzer, which is an MFJ HF, VHF, UHF, SWR analyzer, MFJ 269. There's his call sign. We're going to go to the lowest. What is the lowest here? Let's go the lowest frequency, 1.8 through 4. So here, all the way down, to 1.7335 SWR of 1.2. As we go up, we're gonna watch. That says 1.4-ish, that says 1.2. I would almost want to rather follow that than that, but anyways, we'll just do this and let you guys watch. It doesn't want to move. It just doesn't. We still got a ways to go. But it's not moving, not moving. We're at the end. 4.3327. Nothing, okay? We're gonna carefully take this all the way back to there. And go up. 1.2. 1.2. 1.2. Whoa! Drop down. Where'd it drop down? That was interesting. It dropped down to 1.1. You can actually see on the meter it's dropped down too. On both meters. So we're going to see where it dropped down to 1 point. We're going to watch it as it does what it does here. I never use this frequency. Oh, some bad coax, apparently. Well, that sucks. You could see the impedance is wowzers. Yep. And the end is only dummy load. So if we leave it... Okay, we're going to be fixing that end. There we know that SWR is not quite right on anything. Okay, back to the next end that hopefully is. Hopefully. I'll be putting a elbow connector on here. I don't like that coax bending like it is on mine. I don't really like it bending on his the way it is either, because it's not mine. But on mine, we're gonna have a elbow on there. This elbow connector should help with some of that bending it's not being fond of. I'm gonna turn it this way. Here. As tight as we possibly can get it. There we go. Okay. So, back to better things. We're gonna turn the antenna analyzer off. We're gonna go to mine. Because I've actually scoped that one out and it's below 1.5 everywhere. So for testing purposes, you won't blow your radio up with his dummy load. But we don't know about mine just yet. There we go. Turn the thing on. All the way to the lowest frequency. As it's doing what it's doing. Okay. 1.7304. Yowzers! That coax has bad end too. Yikes. Because as I move the... Oh, that would help. The elbow's loose. The elbow could be causing... Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, I'll be back for part 3 after I fix this coax end.